Good morning, America. The new alert, flash flooding in the east and record heat out west. The east bracing for a summer soaker right now, stretching from Georgia to Maine. This as the west gets hit with another day of record heat. Temperatures topping 116 degrees. Ginger tracking the very latest.
War of words. Overnight, President Trump and Joe Biden going head-to-head in Iowa as the president reacts to a new poll showing Biden with a, quote, landslide-sized lead.
Breaking overseas. The massive protests now underway as thousands swarm the streets of Hong Kong. Police using tear gas and rubber bullets. Protesters trying to protect themselves with masks and umbrellas. Our reporter there in the center of it all.
Breaking news, the new arrest in the shooting of baseball legend David Ortiz. A second suspect now in custody.
Fighting for our heroes. The big vote today after comedian Jon Stewart rips into Congress for failing 9/11 first responders.
They responded in 5 seconds. They did their jobs. 18 years later, do yours.
ABC News exclusive, confronting O.J. Simpson. Exactly 25 years since Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman were murdered, Kim Goldman's remarkable new investigation. She's here live.
And girls who run the World Cup, the U.S. women shattering records with their 13-0 victory. But critics saying they went too far? The athletes firing back this morning.
Live in Times Square, this is Good Morning America.
That's right, Cecilia and I are getting it, Michael.
I don't mind this song either.
Great to have you with us on this Wednesday morning. Let's see it again. 13 goals for the U.S. women's national team.
I don't know if we have time for 13 goals. That's a lot of goals right there. But they did something that's never been done before, scoring more goals in one day than the men scored in the last 3 World Cups combined.
And with that comes the controversy. They are facing some criticism this morning. Some are saying that they celebrated too much. We've been talking a lot about this one. We will keep talking about it this morning.
That is coming up, but first we want to get to those new weather threats on both coasts. The West facing another day of record heat, and the East bracing for a washout. Ginger is here with the latest. Good morning, Ginger.
Hey, good morning to y'all. You know, I want to start with pictures out of Chatham, Massachusetts. This is what it looked like when too much rain fell too fast, and so the cars plowing through the water, which of course you don't want to do. Unfortunately, I think we could see rain that does that type of flooding tomorrow, and I think it's going to happen in much of New Jersey between the hours of, say, 7 to 9 a.m. Philadelphia included in that. Where we're doing a show, but rain or shine, we're still going to be there. New York City, look at that, the heavy rain moving through, and then it'll be moving out. There's another front that comes through in the afternoon. Speaking of the West Coast, though, wow, record heat from Napa that was 100 down to Palm Springs, tying at 114. They'll do it again today. Excessive heat warnings from Phoenix up to Portland, who also broke a record yesterday. Could do it again today before things start to cool down, Michael.
All right, heat, rain's hard to keep up with it all, Ginger, but thank you. Overseas now. To those protests in Hong Kong erupting again overnight, tens of thousands of people taken to the streets, police confronting them with tear gas and rubber bullets. Our foreign correspondent, James Longman, was there in the center of it all. Good morning, James.
It was meant to be peaceful. But this morning, thousands of protesters on Hong Kong streets clashing with riot police. After hours of chanting and song, police moved in to disperse the crowds. Barriers torn down, rubber bullets and tear gas fired into the chaos. Umbrellas and plastic bottles their only defense. Withdraw, they shout, angry at a proposed extradition law allowing mainland Chinese authorities to pursue those it considers fugitives in semi-autonomous Hong Kong.
So what you're seeing here now is the aftermath of a tear gas attack. Tear gas pellets have been fired at protesters from down there, from down the street here, and it's carrying in the wind. You can see a lot of people here struggling to breathe.
Many are just teenagers, but they've succeeded so far in delaying the legislative debate over this new law. Hong Kong authorities, led by a chief executive largely seen to have Beijing's backing, are adamant the bill will pass when it comes to a vote next week.
So I'm at the police line here in Hong Kong. This is a city on lockdown tonight. No sign of it ending anytime soon because protesters say they will stay in the street until a vote goes ahead on this law. Cecilia?
Okay, James, thank you. We'll turn to the race for the White House now. Overnight, President Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden going head-to-head with dueling campaign stops in the key state of Iowa. The attacks sharp and personal. ABC's Mary Bruce joins us from Cedar Rapids. And Mary, it seems the president is taking a page right out of his 2016 playbook, going after his opponent's stamina and now his mental health.
Yes, Cecilia, this is getting personal. The president says Joe Biden simply isn't up to the task of being president, while Joe Biden is slamming the president, saying he is shredding American values. The two men are now taking direct aim at each other as they crisscross this key state, giving voters a possible preview of what could be coming in 2020. Overnight in Iowa, Joe Biden making his most direct attacks yet against President Trump.
I believe that Trump poses a fundamental threat to America.
Eager to look past his Democratic rivals, Biden is turning up the heat on Trump.
We not only have to repudiate Donald Trump's policies and values, we have to clearly and fully reject, for our own safety's sake, his view of the presidency. Quote, "I have complete power." No, you don't, Donald Trump.
And the president is paying close attention.
He was someplace in Iowa today, and he said my name so many times that people couldn't stand it anymore. No, don't keep saying it. Sleepy guy.
Trump says Biden doesn't have what it takes.
He looks different than he used to. He acts different than he used to. He's even slower than he used to be.
Biden's response:
People have a right to question all of our ages. That's a totally legitimate thing. And all I can say is watch me. Just watch me.
A new national poll shows Biden leading the president by 53 to 40%. But the president is doing his own poll, testing out a new campaign slogan.
Make America great again. Keep America great. Thank you very much. That's a free poll. You know, polls don't mean a damn thing.
Now, the president is brushing off these new poll numbers, and Joe Biden isn't putting too much stock in them either. He says this is just the beginning of a very long marathon. Now, as for the other 20-plus Democratic candidates, the new numbers show that Elizabeth Warren is on the move. She is now in third place nationwide. Cecilia, just 4 points behind Bernie Sanders.
That's right, Mary. With all this talk about polls, there's another one out there that's making some waves. This one's an internal poll from the Trump campaign, and it shows the president down in some key battleground states.
Yeah, and Cecilia, sources tell us that the Trump team was taken aback by some of these results in key states like Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, some of those states that helped deliver the presidency to Donald Trump. The president's reaction, he was reportedly livid. Cecilia.
States they do not want to lose. Mary Bruce in Iowa this morning. Thank you. Robin?
All right, Cecilia, now to Capitol Hill, where a vote is set today on a bill to compensate 9/11 first responders suffering devastating effects on their health. This on the heels of Jon Stewart's emotional testimony. Our senior national correspondent, Terry Moran, has more. He's there in Washington for us. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Robin. You know, over the years, Jon Stewart's made a lot of people laugh, but there were many people, including members of Congress, on the verge of tears in that hearing room when he stepped forward to demand that Congress do its job and take care of some of the heroes of 9/11.
Surrounded by 9/11 first responders.
You are ignoring them.
Comedian Jon Stewart struggled to control his emotions on Capitol Hill Tuesday as he demanded Congress take action.
There is not a person here, there is not an empty chair on that stage that didn't tweet out, "Never forget the heroes of 9/11. Never forget their bravery. Never forget what they did, what they gave to this country." Well, here they are.
Stewart, a longtime advocate for the 9/11 first responders, repeatedly called out lawmakers for not doing enough to compensate those among them who were sickened by all that toxic debris at the site of the attack.
They responded in 5 seconds. They did their jobs with courage, grace, tenacity, humility. 18 years later, do yours.
The compensation fund for those men and women is now running out of money and faces cuts.
We are all worried about our children and spouses and our families if we are not here.
And many whose lives depend on that fund are running out of time, like Detective Lou Alvarez, who is facing his 69th chemotherapy treatment.
You all said you would never forget. Well, I'm here to make sure that you don't.
A furious Stewart called the scene a metaphor for the whole system.
Your indifference costs these men and women their most valuable commodity, time. It's the one thing they're running out of.
Well, there was so much emotion in that hearing room, in part because of all those empty seats. That was in part because they were in a big hearing room. There was actually a subcommittee. 12 of the 14 members showed up. But that passion that you hear, it wasn't about the numbers. It was about Congress failing to live up to its promises to these heroes of 9/11. Cecilia?
Heroes who deserve these promises kept. Okay, Terry, thank you. Now to the latest on former Red Sox star David Ortiz, another suspect now in custody this morning. Our chief national affairs correspondent Tom Llamas is there in Boston with all the details. Good morning, Tom.
Cecilia, good morning to you. A lot happening overnight. As you mentioned, that one suspect was formally charged in connection with the shooting of David Ortiz, and then another suspect was arrested. This, as those close to David Ortiz are saying they believe this was a hit carried out by a Sicario, a hitman. Let's go down to the Dominican Republic now, where that person was formally charged. His name is Eddie Feliz Garcia, and he was charged as an accomplice to attempted murder. Now, his attorneys tell us he did confess to playing a role in the shooting, but he was not the one who pulled the trigger. And then late last night, they arrested a second suspect, but police have not indicated whether this was the gunman or not. In fact, we believe this was likely not the gunman, so they could be looking for potentially a third suspect, and we're waiting on an announcement from the police department. But so far, they have not said that they have the hitman, the man who pulled the trigger in this case. As for David Ortiz, he is recovering here in Boston. We were told by his family that he took his first few steps yesterday after a second operation. His wife is very thankful to the entire Red Sox community and to all the fans out there, but she is asking for privacy right now. And we have spoken to medical experts who tell us David Ortiz is very lucky to be alive. A lot of people die from this type of gunshot wound and his type of injury. Michael?
Oh, we're happy he's on the mend. Thank you so much, Tom. And now to new developments in the case of that missing mother of 5. Her estranged husband is out on bond this morning after pleading not guilty. This comes as prosecutors say they found his DNA at her home. ABC's Lindsay Davis sat down exclusively with his attorney.
This morning, Jennifer Dulos' estranged husband, Fotis Dulos, is out of prison, out on a $500,000 bond after spending more than a week behind bars.
Your Honor,
Tuesday morning, Fotis and his girlfriend, Michelle Troconos, entered pleas of not guilty to charges of evidence tampering and hindering the prosecution in the investigation of Dulos' May 24th disappearance. Authorities say they found Fotis' DNA and Jennifer's blood on the kitchen sink in her New Canaan home. Police say splatters of the mother of 5's blood and evidence of a cleanup was found in the garage. Findings Fotis' attorney, Norm Pattis, says suggest Dulos could be dead, but not at the hands of his client.
Has he said, I did not kill my wife?
Yes.
Does he have a theory of where his wife is?
No.
In an exclusive interview with ABC News, Pattis says his client, a real estate developer, has an alibi and that several witnesses can place him at his home the morning Jennifer went missing. But police say they have surveillance images showing a man who they believe is Fotis stopping 30 times around the Hartford area the night of her disappearance, dropping off trash bags containing Dulos' blood-stained clothing.
But here are several anomalies. Rather than 30 bags being thrown out, I'm told there were perhaps 2.
But even if there was just one bag that had blood of his estranged wife, who's now missing.
That is an anomaly that I cannot yet account for.
Now, the Dulos children, all 5 of them, they range in age from 8 to 13. As a condition of his bond, Dulos is banned from having any contact with them. Cecilia.
Okay, Lindsay, thank you. We'll turn now to the latest on the NBA Finals and Kevin Durant's devastating injury. As the Warriors gear up to battle the Raptors tomorrow night in a make-or-break game, the big question right now, can they pull off a win without one of their superstars? ABC's TJ Holmes is here with more on this.
Good morning, my friend.
Yeah, good morning. We're waiting on an injury update. This is not to see if he's coming back for these NBA Finals. This is when he might come back next season. This guy could be sitting out a year. This is the injury. He re-injured it there in Toronto the other night. He is getting an MRI. At some point, we're expecting the team possibly to let us know about it today, the results and the severity of that Achilles injury, they say. This isn't a re-injury or re-aggravation of the original. This is a new injury, an Achilles. The severity of it is going to determine how long he could possibly be out, but this is a game changer for the NBA to have that star out, possibly part of next season.
Yeah, devastating.
I love how the team is saying tomorrow night when they play, you're playing for Kevin.
Yeah, at Oracle. Last game ever at Oracle for these Warriors.
And you'll be there.
I will be there.
Thanks for swinging by.
And speaking to Kevin, his mother Wanda will be joining us for an exclusive interview in our next hour. And you can see Game 6 tomorrow night starting at 8:30 Eastern right here on ABC.
We'll be watching. Now to that record-setting. Did you see this, TJ?
Yeah,
The U.S. women's team beating Thailand 13-0 as the defending champs kicked off their quest for another World Cup title. Will Reeve has all the details for us. Good morning, Will.
Good morning, Robin. It was a day of record-setting domination on the world stage for the U.S. women. But from the celebration, there has emerged some backlash.
As the Women's World Cup kicks off in France, the U.S. women's soccer team is showing no mercy and making history. The defending champions posting the tournament's largest margin of victory ever, shutting out Thailand 13-0. The superstar athletes drawing fans from around the world.
USA!
USA!
I'll be concerned if we score less than 6 goals.
The United States did score 6 goals.
Go! 2-0 US. It's 3-0, 4-0. Quick shot, go! 6-0.
But just to avoid concern, they kept going.
Go! There's another. 9-0. Quick shot, 10-0 US. There's the 11. Shot, go! Cutting the line, she's got it.
Alex Morgan burying 5 of them, tying a record. In a show of sportsmanship, team captain Carly Lloyd's first stop after the match was to the Thai goalkeeper, offering comforting words. Online, fans celebrated history in the making and noted that the women scored more goals in one match than the men's team has scored in every World Cup appearance since 2006 combined. That lopsided win refocusing attention on the team's lawsuit filed against U.S. Soccer earlier this year for unequal pay and resources. But as they prepare for their next match, the U.S. women's national team showing the world exactly why they're favored to win.
Every goal matters in this tournament, and so that's what we were working on this game.
The U.S. women continue their title defense with their second group stage game this Sunday against Chile. Hopefully, they didn't use up all their goals for the World Cup in their first match.
No, but there was some criticism.
Yeah, there was
about this.
A lot of chatter on social media about did they run up the score, and a response to that is, well, they kind of had to, because in the group stage, if you're tied with other teams to advance to the next round, a tiebreaker is goal differential, so you have to score as many as you can, right? And U.S. legend Abby Wambach came out and tweeted saying, hey, it's the World Cup. If they're celebrating, it's because they've reached the pinnacle of their sport and they should do what they want.
And the other players were saying, too, like, if this were a men's team, would we be having the same conversation?
Right, and there are arguments, I suppose, on both sides. But, Michael, you played in the NFL. What do they say if you're getting the score run up on you?
You don't want them to score on you, stop them. That's just the way it is. But I don't think this is a man-woman issue. I think this is just for people to look at sportsmanship without understanding the rules of the sport in this context.
And even the Thai coach said they followed the rules.
Yeah. All right. TJ's remaining
TJ, thanks for they score more than Warriors in some quarters.
We're following a lot of other headlines this morning confronting O.J. Simpson, how the Goldmans are now taking on the former football star acquitted of murdering Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson. Ron's family is here, his father Fred, his sister Kim, for an exclusive interview. But first, let's go back to Ginger.
And let's get right to your Sunny Cities, brought to you by Amazon Prime.
Free shipping, even on furniture, with Prime.
Expect increasing clouds today, but you're not going to need the umbrella. It's going to feel very comfortable. Temperatures mid-60s early morning to lower 70s by 10 a.m. and even lunchtime today. We stay dry. We'll head up to 78 degrees after 11 p.m. Expect rain, pockets of moderate and heavy rain. Most of the data giving us around an inch. That means we could see some issues on area roads Thursday early, and then a chance for some afternoon storms tomorrow, 78. The weekend not bad. Father's Day kind of hot and humid.
Hump day.
Hello, darkness, my old
More details incoming involving Volkswagen and the growing scandal.
Dissatisfied customers filing complaints against the German automaker.
Because a vision softly creeping